Hello, everyone. This is Gaming Banter with Ryan and David, or David and Ryan, however you prefer. And my name is Ryan, obviously, and David is over here as well.
Hello.
And we have a guest with us today, which is George.
Hi.
George is one of our writers for the site, and specifically, he does a lot of different artwork, and he's great guy. Lives up in New Jersey and has a wonderful website for all of his drawings. So, and that's studio.nj.com. But, anyways, today we're going to talk about a lot of different things. I guess to start off, I saw some news from World of Warcraft today, actually, that they went down from, I think it was 8.3. Was it 8.3? 8.3 million subscribers to 7.7 million subscribers in 3 months, which is a huge drop.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, David?
That's interesting. I would start thinking. I wonder why. I haven't really kept up with their numbers. So I wonder if that's normal fluctuation. Like maybe they do go up and down in between patches or something like that. Or I wonder if it's something like it's one of the. I think there's a lot more. What are they called? Microtransaction games coming along. And they're one of the ones left that's I guess pay to play is different than microtransaction. Well, like I know League of Legends has gotten really big just in the last 3 years. Games like Titanfall haven't come out yet, but definitely I know some people are excited. And I think a different one too. I can't remember the name of it, but there's several new online play against a bunch of people type things. Nothing I can think of is replacing World of Warcraft style.
I think there's a bunch of newer games that are coming out, and for example, Rift switched to free-to-play with microtransactions and everything like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of these big-name titles that were once a pay-to-play, but now they're switching over to the microtransaction model to gain more subscribers. So
well, even World of Warcraft did make that card game or whatever, Hearthstone.
Yeah, and I think that came out recently.
Yeah, not too long ago, and it's a microtransaction, I believe, but not pay to play.
Oh, so just a point of reference before we go on. All three of us work for a website called www.ultimategamedatabase.com. Our site specializes in having information about every game ever created so that you can make better decisions when buying games. We're an aggregate reviewer and news source, so we want to be your one-stop shop for a lot of video games, and hopefully this is going to be valuable for you, this call. But anyways, George, what were your thoughts on the World of Warcraft subscriber drop?
Well, I don't know when the date was exactly, but I recall maybe it was Lich King. They were talking about having 13.5-ish million subscribers. So if it was up to me, and of course this is all speculation, I played Lich King a lot, but I didn't buy Mists because, pandas. I mean, it seems like at that point, I don't know, maybe a million WoW players are going to get on my case about this, but it's just not compelling content to me. It seems like, okay, maybe it was a serious game, hey, let's have cool fantasy adventures, but now the game has pandas in it, and it was it seems like it was just an attitude where the developers were like, okay, we've got nothing else, let's just have fun now and have silly content and add that. And I feel like a lot of the gamers that were, it's 10 years old, this game. They're kind of tired of the formula, I guess.
Yeah, I think with World of Warcraft it was always a balance, right? So I always played a lot of MMOs, for example, Dark Age of Camelot, EverQuest, moving on to Earth and Beyond, and some of those games, World of Warcraft and whatnot. But my one complaint, and a lot of my buddies' complaints about World of Warcraft, was they went the cartoony graphics way. So, I mean, I guess that is the question. Did they go too far and go beyond, going to pandas and basically doing like Kung Fu Panda style kind of stuff? Because that's what everybody was thinking when they were releasing it. It was that too far. So, what do you think, David?
Yeah, I do think because the last thing they had come out before that was the I can't remember the name of it, but
Wrath of the Lich King.
like when did the werewolves come along?
That was Lich King.
That was the last patch, and I know
Oh,
everyone
wait,
was really,
wait. Was it? Draenei and Blood Elves were the second patch, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Blood
go ahead.
Elves. Blood Elves were for the one that I played, Burning Crusade.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you're playing a game and you're like, oh, blood elves are coming along. Oh, that's interesting. Night elves, like what is that going to be able to do and stuff like that. You get excited. A lot of mythology about different things, and you think, okay, this could be cool. This could add to the druids I'm already playing and stuff, and it's all within theme. And then werewolves come along, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Still, I like that's neat. The idea of becoming a werewolf. Twilight Sin. So let's do that thing. But I think a lot of people played it. It's the first new race that had come out or first new class. So everyone's hopping on board. I think they were like, oh, everyone likes werewolves. Let's make another animal. But maybe people just wanted something new to do because they didn't have it, so they hopped on werewolves. And I know the werewolf riding around on the motorcycle looked pretty cool. So I wonder if they should have maybe included something. And they have both genres. I think it's one of the games I think I've heard has more girl gamers than a lot of gamers of that style. Games of that style, and so I think they could definitely really like pandas. So they should have maybe included something else.
Well, not to kill the panda thing all the way. It was initially a joke I read. Like one of the concept artists was just fooling around one day, and at some point, someone just kind of looked at it and said, let's do it for fun."
Yeah, I think I remember thinking when that came out that it was a April Fool's joke, because they always did the great April Fool's joke. Like back in the day, the Panda Express, do /panda and you can order Panda Express and they'll deliver to your door. And it's like, wow, that's really cool, and I totally fell for it because I'm an idiot. But then I found out it was real, and it was far less entertaining.
Well, look, I mean, the game is. Anyone will say the game has been like a raging success, and it had to end sometime, I guess. But I guess it seems just like Activision Blizzard, whatever, they weren't taking it seriously anymore, which is okay, I guess, because they've been in development for their next game, right? It's still a secret, I guess.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it's not surprising that people are not really into WoW anymore, because I know most MMO players have moved on by this. Well, in spirit, they've moved on.
Yeah, but I mean, with 7.7 million subscribers, that's still a very large number of people
that's nothing these days.
More than playing any other MMO probably out there still. But yeah, no. I mean, I like WoW. I haven't played the new expansion, so I couldn't speak to it, and I think this is all pure conjecture on our part. So as kind of a disclaimer for all you WoW players on the Mista Pandera out there, I don't think any of the three of us have played, so we can't comment as to the content or anything like that. Just the concept behind it seems a little bit far-fetched, and if they're losing 600,000 subscribers, then I think I wouldn't say it's the death throes of WoW, because you still got 7.7 left. And I think you could probably run the game still with 1 million and not have any problem paying your server costs and everything. So WoW will never die. It'll be around forever, or at least until we're not using PCs anymore.
It's still a great game. Like, for nostalgia, I'll still roll a character just for fun. It's just that the new content is kind of like... Because the only reason you come out with a new patch anyway is to kind of revitalize the brand. It's like, hey, old subscribers who haven't played in a year, come back, make a new character.
All your gear isn't good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that brings up another point. So, I mean, one of the things that irritated me the most was, you go through all these dungeons, you do all this work, you spend all this time, and the game is so heavily gear-based that, okay, new expansion comes out, all your old gear is just as good as the greens that are for the new gear, so you can just get rid of it now. And also, there was just huge balance issues, because, I mean, I'm a PvPer. I play games to PvP and kill other people, and, you know, they did some things in the arena system I just didn't agree with. You know, the whole entire resilience stuff. You know, it just having a different resistance pool specifically for arenas and player versus player is just weird. I don't think you should do that.
Yeah,
it just, yeah.
I felt like a lot of stuff was designed just around like killing my time. Like, so if you want a PvP, now you got to go hunt down all this other stuff, which it makes sense because it's a time-based. Like they want you to play it for months and months. And I think that's part of the struggle for me and maybe other people as well. It's just a time frame thing. Like I play League of Legends a lot, and I can hop on, play like a 20 to 40 minute game, and then like go to bed, just kind of relax with a game and kind of unwind. Versus like you can't play for like 20 to 40 minutes on WoW a day and keep up with anyone else playing. It feels like everyone else is out grinding and power leveling and stuff, and it just takes more time than I can invest in it. And that's it. I always I like the game genre of game in general, where for my own side games, I liked RPGs. I love leveling up and assigning points and collecting gear and stuff. But when it's a community game, when I'm playing against other people especially, I prefer like a set amount of abilities each person has. It's kind of like playing chess. You play chess against someone else, and they have what you have, and you each do your best with it. It's not they played chess for a year, so all their queens can move 5 extra spaces and can go through other units or stuff like that. You're like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. And when I play chess against you, I always lose because your units are better.
Yeah.
And I like stuff where it's just you improve at the game, and that's why you're better than another person, not they've been playing for an extra 6 hours a day, and so they're just going to beat you because their units are better. And so I've always leaned towards that kind of game where it's your skill versus their skill. Yeah. So yeah, WoW's never been like largely my thing, just based on time constraints, and that is it rewards the grinding, and I can't put that in.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think that's a hard balance, just because you have all these things that you're trying to give people a reason to PvP or a reason to PvE, and so there has to be some kind of reward. So where is the line that's drawn so that the game still remains competitive for the person that's tricked out in gear versus the person who's just starting to PvP?
How about standardized gear?
Yeah. So. I
like
think
picking characters in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Like this protection paladin.
The hard part with that though is where do you put where's the returnability, the ability for the player to come back and say, I'm accomplishing something by doing PvP and I'm making my character stronger. But if you take that away and standardize all the gear so that it's a completely level playing field,
right,
you're not going to get return players.
Sorry, I don't mean all the gear. I just mean like you can have like a separate league. You know how they have team PvP, one-on-one PvP? So you can do like a separate league of, hey, use these pre-equipped characters that are standardized all across the board, and hey, let's see how good you are at being a fire mage.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
I think that was, I guess, a desire, because League of Legends and Dota, which I kind of came from, were Dawn of the Ancients, was originally a Warcraft mod. I think kind of like, so like you play Arcade and StarCraft, but it was a Warcraft mod. So there was where people were like, oh man, I like the PvP, but I want everyone just to have a standard set of beginning units that we just throw against each other. And so I think that was something people wanted a long time ago. That's why Dawn of the Ancients came out, and then now it's got its own port or whatever. And then League has come out and been pretty successful. But I definitely think both have their needs. Like I know a lot of people who like to unwind and appreciate grinding 15 hours for that piece of equipment that does an extra 100 damage and stuff, and it's something their personality types are drawn toward, and that's totally okay, and it's a way they want to spend their time, and that's totally okay too. So I'm glad the avenue's out there, because it's a diverse world of gaming.
Definitely. But okay, well, I think we've talked about Warcraft long enough. We might be able to circle back, but we keep going for hours. Just because I mean the game's immense, it's huge, and there's no right or wrong answer. But and kind of to George's point to kind of close that out, I think Guild Wars did something because I mean you could get a base set of gear for every different class once you leveled up in the original Guild Wars. But anyways, another piece of news. It's official. Call of Duty Ghosts is coming out on Wii U.
Oh, best Call of Duty yet.
How significant, or in my opinion, insignificant is that? And what do you think, George?
Well, you'll have to refresh me. I'll play the guy that doesn't know a lot, and maybe you guys can explain it to me a little bit.
Oh, okay. So Call of Duty, big franchise, obviously. Modern Warfare, Black Ops, long held. Every game pretty much breaks the sales record for most revenue and copies sold pretty much on opening week. I think last time they made something like $1 billion or something ridiculous opening week. So, but yeah, so in the past for the different consoles, it was it's going to be on PlayStation and it's going to be on Xbox and it's going to be on Wii. And so the big question for a long time was, we're going to do it on Xbox and PlayStation, but are we going to do it on Wii? And the problem is that Wii doesn't really have a lot of the hardcore gamers anymore because they've gone towards kind of the party games and staying static with all that stuff. So the question is it relevant to even go to the Wii? Is there a desire there for people to play that? Because I'll have to look at the statistics real quick while you're commenting on that, but I don't think that there's a significant amount of people that are buying Call of Duty on Wii.
Probably not. I mean, every time a new fighting game comes out, I'm always super torn. Like, I have a PS3 and 360, and I can't decide which one should I buy it for. Where's the most amount of competition going to be? And that's what makes me decide what console I'm going to get it on. I know that amazing Japanese players play on PS3, and I'd love to play them. Of course, there's lag, whatever. But I know that the 360 is more popular in America, so that's where I ended up putting all my investments into. I didn't want to, because I also didn't want to have to pay for online, but that's where all the players were. The Wii U issue with Call of Duty, they could really actually do an amazing job. I don't think they're going to take advantage, they should, of the controller. They could do some amazing stuff with an FPS with that controller. But I don't think they're going to take advantage the way like retro studios could have with Metroid Prime, for instance. You can do like scanning, you lift the controller up to the screen. That would be amazing. So if they had like features that could only be done on the Wii U, that would actually turn a lot of heads. I don't think they're going to do that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so
they say... Sorry.
Sorry. I just got the statistics, and it looks like for Black Ops Original, they sold 1.27 million copies on Wii, compared to on Xbox 360, where they sold 13.98 million. So for the other consoles, and then just to give you some comparison, for PS3 it was 11.99. So about 12 million copies on Black Ops 2, 13, almost 14 on Xbox 360, and a little over 1.25 for Wii. So that's why I think it's kind of like, well, is it worth it? I don't know. I haven't played Call of Duty on there, so I don't know if they're offering some kind of things. I know there is a Modern Warfare Reflex Edition. So it sounds like they are doing some kind of
mini game.
Yeah, some kind of special thing using the Wii controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all grown up with Nintendo, I'm sure. Like,
yeah,
it's the little engine that could. We want Nintendo to succeed. It's good that they're being included. I don't know how long they can keep that up now with the next gen coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I use their controller at E3 and the new controller, and I played a couple different games for Wii U. And I will say that the new controller is solid. They have some. I mean,
I think you froze.
but
So you just dropped out a second
Yeah.
ago.
oh,
You froze for a
we
second.
good?
Yeah, you're back.
Network.
I got scared.
Okay.
We're good.
Anyways,
You
so
saying the
sorry about that.
controller's solid?
I like the. Yeah, I like the controller. I think it's a good controller. It's solid. It's kind of like holding a large Game Boy or DS or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that they could actually do shooters now pretty effectively compared to the Wii controller, which was kind of like I don't know if I can do this. But David, what's your thoughts on the whole entire thing? Because I know we haven't heard from you on this.
It is interesting. Yeah, I've yet to play with the Wii U in any way, so it's hard to say what could come from it. I think even last time we had a hangout, the last video we posted, I talked about like the different peripherals Nintendo's tried to do, and like the old Pac-Man game that I liked a lot when they used to let you hook up your Advance to a GameCube and stuff like that. And so yeah, I think they've always had a lot of times like I think they could do some really interesting things. I've always wondered how scared they are to try new things, because I know the guy who made like the what was that Game Boy thing that went on your head that was red that they used
Virtual
to torture
Boy?
people? Yeah, the Virtual Boy. I
Torture
remember
people.
like yeah, you'd go to Blockbusters when those were a thing, and they had one on the thing, and you could get in and you start playing Virtual Boy Tennis, because that was the only game that was in there. I think there was a racer sometimes in there. But yeah, you'd play it like as a kid for like even a few minutes, and you're like, all right, well, I'm done with my sample. My head hurts. And I think that guy like lost his job over it. I think I've heard like it's pretty disgraced. So I think sometimes maybe they're a little extra scared to go too crazy with peripherals, because people in the past have gotten reprimanded strongly for bad decisions. I don't know if that's really true. That's just my theory, because sometimes it seems like they have such good potential, they don't really play out. Like they don't try doing something that might be a little weird. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Although, I mean, they're doing stuff like with the Wii U and stuff. One of the comments on the this article I'm reading about it, this guy says maybe in the Wii U version they'll replace the German Shepherd the guy has with a Chihuahua and friends and make everyone happy. So that's what I first thought too. I was like, I wonder if you can like the whole Call of Duty Ghost Ops thing for Wii U will just be you training your dog, and so you can like pet it and teach it tricks, because that would do really well.
Like talks about your fitness and everything like that.
Yeah, you can do jumping jacks with your guy and like get fit a little bit. There's a personal trainer, like a lot of fun, like little mini games, which I think they lean towards little mini games, because it just has to like you just have to complete light tasks, the same kind of stuff you can do on a smartphone and stuff. Because sometimes the new peripherals they put in aren't super sensitive. Like it was hard to do really high end shooters and stuff with the Wii remotes, because they weren't like point and click sensitive. Like they couldn't compete with mice and even like the joysticks a lot of times. But I'm interested if they can maybe overcome a lot of that with the Wii U controller. They've got a little more. You've got more control and maybe do some interesting things. It would be neat if you could pull up your thing for sniper scope or something like that. So you could switch back and forth between sniping really easily, or like it'd be interesting to see what they do with it. And I guess as long as they're not taking a financial hit doing it, even if they break even, it's good to have your property on all the markets.
Exactly. So we have one of two topics left. We can rush through one and get to the other. We only have a couple minutes left here. So would we want to start with Super Smash Brothers or go to the Mass Effect concept art?
Smash Brothers and then end on Mass Effect, because I feel like there's more in the Mass Effect zone than the Smash Brothers. I think we can cover quicker.
Okay, sure. So Super Smash Brothers, they just kind of announced a little bit ago that they're not going to be doing any kind of campaign mode or story mode or anything like that. Primarily the reason is because the videos, like the cutscenes, as it were, got leaked. And so they're like, well, kind of the whole entire point of having the story mode is the cutscenes. So if you're going to leak the cutscenes, then we're just going to story mode.
It's a little odd.
Well, but I mean, I played the Super Smash Brothers, campaign modes before, and it's basically just it's the game against the computer, and then you have cutscenes.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense.
it would make sense for them not to have them because nobody cares. Like I've only ever played it with other people against other people, and I've not ever gone through it. So I'm not like, oh, that's a disappointment. That was a big part of the game for me. But it's weird to say we're not doing it because it'll get leaked. It's like if I'm like, I'm not going to buy my computer. My house keeps getting robbed, and you're like, maybe you got to figure out a way not to get your house robbed anymore, not just stop buying things. Like I won't have nice things so they always get stolen. Like it sounds like there's a problem to try to fix. The fact things are getting leaked. Like,
Well,
but yeah.
on one hand, I would say they're lying. That's
Yeah.
an excuse. But on the truth is also Nintendo lately has been coming down against like Let's Plays.
Hmm.
Like even at Evolution, there's a fighting game tournament called Evolution. People wanted to play Smash Brothers as one of the tournament games, and there was actually for a while they weren't sure if Nintendo was going to allow it. Like Nintendo apparently doesn't want any of their stuff online anymore.
Huh. Like
Now-
they didn't want people to play it, or they didn't want the content online.
Well, you know how there's like Let's Plays are very popular these days. Just a bunch of guys sitting around playing video games and putting it on YouTube. And like,
Oh yeah.
so I guess Nintendo doesn't like that. Because I mean, Nintendo's always been very strict with their rules anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess they just don't want it to be like out of control. I don't know. It's just, I mean, but the viral potential.
I mean,
Yeah.
one, you're giving up so much just
It's
to
free
avoid that
advertising.
particular situation, and two, you can't stop people from, doing that. If I wanted to, I could go get a Wii, hook it up to a computer with some hardware, and I'm going to be streaming that, and I can do a Let's Play. So you're not going to be able to stop it.
Apparently, Nintendo will come after you, though.
Really?
So they say.
That's
I'm
unenforceable.
just
I
telling
mean,
you what I heard.
that's kind of like prohibition.
Yeah.
During Prohibition, they passed all the laws to stop drinking, and whatever your position on that, the reason why it didn't work was because it was unenforceable and it just caused corruption. So if you have millions of people that are broadcasting your stuff, that's not going to hold up in the courts.
Well, I know, like, the Smosh, like that, the video channel Smosh, they do funny stuff, but they had one of, I think, the highest viewed videos at one point on YouTube at the time was their Pokemon, like, parody, them just doing, pretty much, they're singing word for word the Pokemon theme song and doing different stuff, and they had to take it down because Pokemon, which I think is Pokemon owned by Nintendo? I don't know.
Yeah.
They came after him and said, you have to take this down. Which it wasn't, they were doing not necessarily positive things along to the music, so it wasn't good for the image of Pokemon. But, I mean, it was funny. Nobody was like, I'm not going to play Pokemon because of this. But then they were later able to put it back up because of parody law and things like that, where essentially they aren't just stealing someone else's material. They're working with someone else's material or something. I don't know the laws 100%. But I don't think you could take people down for showing 10 seconds of play in between them talking about their play or something. Like, I guess if it was full screen capture, like nothing but that game playing, maybe they could say it's like leaking. But I don't know.
Well, in the case of the Smash Brothers issue,
Yeah.
that we were talking about, part of it is also, and this one I can understand, is they don't want to maybe spend development time on something that isn't going. How do I put this? It takes a lot of time to animate that stuff, I guess. So, like, you take a game like Soul Calibur 5. There was another fighting game too that just didn't have any sort of story mode, or I think it was King of Fighters 12. They didn't include anything, so no arcade mode. Oh well, there was an arcade mode, but nothing besides like a few pathetic little cutscenes, especially Soul Calibur 5. Everybody hated that. Now I know people don't play Smash for the story exactly, so I don't know how disappointed. Like I heard there was a guy that wrote like, it was like 3 million words fan fiction of Smash Brothers. I don't know if I read that correctly. Someone out there really likes Smash Brothers.
It's just it's a lot of development time to be spending on a story mode for a game where honestly the primary focus is on the multiplayer. Which is why for games like Call of Duty the story mode in my opinion has suffered over the last several years because it's like most people are playing it for the multiplayer. They're not playing it to get through the campaign. Some of them are, but I mean I played through the campaign, but anyways, we gotta kind of wrap up. We're getting towards the end of our time here, so let's move on to Mass Effect real quick.
Sure.
We've got about 3 minutes, so that's like 60 seconds each to talk about the Mass Effect concept art. So I'll just give a brief overview, and this will be my 60 seconds. Really awesome. Basically, the guy who does a majority of the concept art, I don't know if he does all of it, for Mass Effect, the series, released his concept art for both Mass Effect 3, some for Mass Effect 2, the part. And so spoilers, don't turn it off. Turn it off. For Mass Effect 2, kind of one of the final cutscenes, or one of the final battles, he showed like 3 or 4 different concepts of what he viewed the final battle to be leading up to, which I thought were a lot cooler than what they actually ended up using.
1,000 times cooler. 1,000 times.
Yeah, like so much cooler. And it was like, man, why did they do that? Like, it looks so, and I mean, excuse me, I love Mass Effect in the series. 1 was amazing, 2 was pretty cool, but the final battle left so much to be desired. And from an artistic point of view, I thought it was just lacking. But anyways, I'll be linking the concept art at the end, but really cool, different ideas. I really hope they come up with another Mass Effect continuation based on this artist's drawings, because he just has some cool ideas. So I'm going to toss over to David, and then we'll end up with George.
And I will actually, because I'm not really particularly an artist, I'll give my time to George, because I think he's got better stuff to say on it. I don't know what to say about this stuff.
Well, I mean, you could just look at it. I mean, anybody would know by looking at this concept art that, hey, this is really cool. I wish they made a game of this. And like yesterday, I was staring at it for like an hour, and I don't know if you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
But like, these guys, who are they? They're awesome. Why aren't they in the game? And like, for instance, Ryan, you were talking about like this concept art. Whatever is going on here, I want this. Why isn't this in the game? And I was so bummed out when I'm looking through this concept art. I'm like thinking, all right, because I guess they wanted a more realistic feel to the game in terms of art style, and this guy is just so, his name is Matt Rhodes, by the way. It's so creative and so interesting, and it's just oozing with creativity, and I'm just, why didn't they do this? And anyway.
With the exception of that one where it was like he even was making fun of it, the tube going to the little baby sucking its thumb. Like that one was kind of like, what?
It's disturbing and weird. This one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this last night actually. Like, all right, so you know Alien, and there was that guy H.R. Geiger who did all the art direction on that game. He only did like certain parts of the art direction, I guess. In terms of really letting his creativity go crazy. And it was so restrained, but when you saw his stuff, it was so arresting. And I'm looking at this guy's art, Matt Rhodes, and I'm like, wow, if they just let him go crazy and let him do whatever he wanted, that game would be amazing to look at. And it's not to say Mass Effect doesn't look good. It does. Its art direction is outstanding. But it could have been even better. So I saw these images, and I was actually kind of bummed out. Like, there was a picture of Edie. This. I know, obviously, like, they wanted to make Edie, like, a romantic interest for Joker or whatever, spoilers. But, like, this, to me, is just that face. It's so creepy looking. I think that's so much more, there's so much more vibrancy to it. It's disturbing and interesting, and it is weird that Joker's in love with an AI. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but it would be even creepier if she had that face.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
I'm afraid that I'm going to have to cut us off there because we're going over our time, but we will definitely link to that, and we may even start talking about this again next week when we do this, just because there's so much to talk about in that particular piece. I wish we had started with that, but instead we spent a lot of time on World of Warcraft. But anyways, thank you for joining us. Just to kind of give us a sign off, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Adieu.
Oh, and don't forget to visit our webpage, www.ultimategamedb.com. Like our Facebook, like our Twitter, and find out
give our
all
Twitter
your
names.
Our Twitter handle is @UltimateGameTV. So yeah, and it'll all be in the video. So have a wonderful week. See you guys.
Peace.